Squid Game, Netflix's Asian sugar daddy that put all K-drama shows onto the map. I'm just kidding, Jungkook did that. Anyways, with the exciting release of Squid Game Season 2 coming on December 26th, I thought it'd be a slap in the face to all of you watching right now, considering another thriller film just came out that turned one of the best movies into essentially a f***ing Lion King musical. You must be thinking, it's almost 2025 and the show came out in 2021. Well, I don't have my driver's license either at 20, so this is how late I am to the party.
Cause you don't want that late text that I think I'm late text. Now
if you forgot, the premise of Squid Games is essentially rich people forcing a bunch of homeless people to play children's games, except that these ones, you die. Now why exactly are these people dying over children's games? Because it's a commentary and metaphor to what people will do for money in today's state of. Now we begin with our main protagonist, Sung Ji-han, a failed restaurateur, a failed sports bettor, and failed father. And he lives with his old mother who's also kinda broke, but it's just enough money to give Ji-han to buy his daughter some birthday fried chicken. Now where is his daughter, you may ask? Well, she's with her other dad and divorced mother like it's f***ing Coraline. Now what he actually does is steal his mom's credit card, take some money out, and then goes gambling on horses. Now let me be clear, he's not a degenerate gambler after all, because he actually won. Now looking like Fly reacts, scoring his first point in a game, Ji-han immediately goes and takes his winnings and goes investing it. Just kidding, he goes and calls his daughter to promise a giant buffet and then instantly gets robbed. Now after some friendly chats with his loan sharks, he's really sad now, and what makes him even more sad is that he missed the subway. Now the MF from Train to Busan spawns in and has exactly what my guy needs. Some nice, cold hard cash. He offers to play a game, the Jackie, a children's game where you try to flip this square, betting 100,000 won every single time against Ji-han. Now Ji-han, who's like $8 trillion in debt, says why the f not, and instantly loses the first game. He stares at him and is about to book it when the salesman says, you can just pay with your face, and reveals that he's actually the power slapping world champion. Ji-han now looks like a tomato, but he finally locks back in after a 13-game losing streak and wins the cash. Now he wins a few more times before the salesman reveals that he actually knows his full name. He's basically the poorest of the poor, and hands him a business card with shapes on it that would sell for $2 million at an art gallery. Now fast forward a bit, Ji-han knows that he's absolutely more cooked than a well done steak, and his daughter's about to get dragged to Canada or something because he's too broke. He finally decides to call the business card, meets a not so sus car, and then gets knocked out by galaxy gas. Now he wakes up in a green Nocta Tech fleece and is surprised to see that there are hundreds of other homeless people and realizes it's Toronto. I'm just kidding, these are the competitors, and we meet some of the main people. Player 218, Sung-woo, who is his childhood friend, player 067, Kang Se-byuk, who is the girl that actually robbed Ji-han previously, but she bad as hell, so he forgives her. Player 001, this old man who has dementia. Player 199, a random Pakistani guy because Netflix loves their diversity hires. And the obvious antagonist, player 101, Deoksu. I mean, look at this guy. He's built like a cheeseburger. Anyways, they're in this giant room filled with bunk beds, and soon masked men with shapes on their heads comes in and escorts them to their first game. But before this, there are 3 important rules to follow. 1. A player is not allowed to stop playing. 2. A player who refuses to play will be eliminated. And 3. Anyone who does not shout no Diddy when walking past the middle school will be... I'm just kidding. 3. Games will be terminated if the majority agrees. This takes us to... Now, Red Light Green Light is a children's game that revolves around your ability to react. If it's green light, you go, red light, you stop, and if you move, you're out. Now, Squid Game takes this harmless children's game and, well... Now, as all the homeless people look around, they see a giant recreation of their favorite childhood game in an enormous version. Now, instead of an actual person refereeing this, there's a huge robot girl that gives out the normal instructions. Now the instructions are rather vague. What does elimination mean? Do I get a prize? And everyone is rather unserious about the whole situation as a pair of idiots break the rules on the first go. Now suddenly, hold up!
Oh my god, it's love.
Bronny James shows up and shoots a wild shot, obviously missing because he's like 0 for 11 in 40 minutes of playing time, but something that didn't miss is a sniper rifle from inside the walls that absolutely one-tapped the guy. An absolute pandemonium breaks loose as people start panicking during red light, which eliminates them and eliminates the people they knock over as well. Like imagine your little homie and you're just chilling when bro in front of you completely crashes out and knocks you over. Now further into the game, Mr. Diversity Hire actually saves Jihan, who is low-key running on 500 ping at this point. Now after like half the people are dead, the remaining make it to the end of the other side, just thankful to be alive. Now once they return to the main room, everyone is tweaking to get out, and as Rule 3 states, as long as the majority rules in favor, that's okay. However, right before they leave, a giant glass pig lowers from the ceiling and starts dropping their rent money, which makes it clear that they're trading lives for money in here. A fantastic analogy for the state of the economy right now. Everyone realizes that their lives are miserable outside the game, and they almost vote to stay until finally the old man breaks the tie by voting to leave. Everyone is dropped into their old lives, and almost all of them instantly rejoin the game after realizing this is the only shot they got. Now for a brief time outside, Jihan tried to report the whole red light green light thing to the police, but he has no evidence and is told to. However, there is one very handsome cop, Hwang Jung-ho, who is dealing with dead brother peer pressure and gets a little sus about Jihan's report, so he pulls some strings and sneaks on board the Galaxy Gas van and is transported to the island where the games are held. Now once the gang is all back together, Game 2 is about to begin. Honeycomb, a game where you try to trace out a shape inside a cookie and try not to break it while doing so, and Sang-woo, who is kind of a not so nice guy right now, tricks Jihan into picking the umbrella, the hardest of the 4 shapes. Now everyone's told to get in lines to pick a different shape: circle, triangle, star, and umbrella, and is told all the main characters make it out, and Deok-soo is about to fumble harder than Kai Cenat with Tyla when this annoying girl, player 212, hands him a lighter and saves him from elimination. Now there's a brief sub-game between games 2 and 3 called Lights Out, as Deok-soo has recruited most of the strong male competitors, and while getting to a fight, Deok-soo realizes that he can actually people in the room, as there is no rule preventing that. So when the lights go out during sleeping hours, everything goes insane, especially because he stole the food given to the other people. Now once another few dozen people kick the bucket, it's time for Game 3, a team-based game, and the annoying girl has won favors with Deok-soo, so she joins his team. Sang-woo, Se-byuk, Jihan, the Pakistani guy, and the old man join into one group, but they suspect that the game is based on strength, so then they try to recruit male-only competitors, but reluctantly takes in one more girl, and they're right, it is tug of war who can pull the other team off the platform and pull the best impression of Liam Payne. Deok-soo's team goes first and is drawn against a weaker team, easily beating them out and eliminating them. Now Jihan's team is picked to go next against an all-male team, and while they think it's over, the old man rallies them up into a technique-based strategy. They get into a strong start despite having a weaker team, but they can't seem to sustain their strength. So as a last-ditch effort, they pull a Hail Mary and they all run forward, causing the other team to fall down and pull them off the platform. During the second Lights Out, most of the surviving teams are now fortified and more prepared to defend, so Deok-soo's team saves their energy. However, no one is really sure what the next game is until it's announced that they'll be playing in duos. Deok-soo now low-key does not care about the girl anymore and trades her for the second strongest player, thinking that they're easily gonna beat out any remaining team. The Pakistani guy teams with Sang-woo, Se-byuk teams with the one girl recruited from Tug of War, and Jihan reluctantly teams up with the old man, but probably thinks he's screwed. However, it is not a strength-based game after all, as we are playing marbles. Each player has 10 marbles and they bet their partner against any game of their choosing to win those marbles. And everyone realizes, oh I'm playing against my teammate. Now this is honestly one of the saddest moments in the show, as they all know that one of them is not going forward, especially with everyone pairing with their best friend. Now the side girl character Ji Young paired with Se-byuk turned out to be god, one of the most underrated characters I've ever seen, as instead of trying to beat Se-byuk, she just sat down and wanted to hear her ambitions and goals.
같이 제주도 나갈래? 미안. 또 실수.
And when they finally decide to bet all their marbles into one game, who can land the marbles closest to the wall, Ji-young just let Se-byuk win, which low-key, like, actually made me cry.
고마워. 나랑 같이 해줘서.
Now the Pakistani guy is one of the most loyal characters on the show, contrasting Sang-woo's cold personality, and with a wife and daughter back home, it is absolutely heart-wrenching. He gets tricked by Sang-woo to think that they're both gonna make it somehow, but Sang-woo steals his marbles without force and exits the game. Finally, Ji-hun gets beat in almost every game by the old man, but right as he's about to get eliminated, Ji-hun cheats and takes advantage of his dementia, but he's absolutely torn apart when the old man reveals he actually doesn't have dementia and claimed that they're forever gonna be gambu, which literally translates to old and close friends.
깐부잖아. 괜찮을 거야.
And with that, Ji-hun is devastated with this revelation as he leaves him behind. Now without a partner last game, the annoying girl was dragged off by the guards, but to everyone's shock, she was still alive, as the game's trying to promote fairness and equality. And meanwhile, remember that handsome cop? Yeah, he snuck around a little bit more, put some guards to permanent sleep, became a guard himself, got caught, and now is being chased. But hold up, oh the show isn't all for nothing because the VIPs walk in, extremely rich people betting on the lives of the competitors. Now game 5 soon begins, Glass Bridge, and the players choose numbers between 1 and 16. Now not knowing what the numbers mean, Ji-hun, Sang-woo, and Se-byuk pick the last 3. Now it's revealed that it's a giant set with 2 parallel bridges, each holding 18 glass panes. One pane is regular glass, which breaks, named after Liam, and the other one is tempered glass that can hold the weight of Lizzo, and the numbers are in the order in which the player goes in. With player 1 realizing he is completely they all fall one by one down, and when it's Deok-soo's turn, he refuses to go and bullies the people behind him. Now the annoying girl, who has seen enough of this, wraps her arms around him and they both fall down. Now there's a guy who could actually tell the difference between the glass panes, but it's done for him when they turn the lights off. Now finally, only Sang-woo, Se-byuk, and Ji-hun make it to the end as the glass explodes into Se-byuk is mortally injured by the glass shards, unknowing to the other 2. Now these are your final 3 contestants, and they're given a huge feast as a congratulations for making this far. Someone who did not make it this far is that handsome cop who got tracked down by the leader of the game, the front man, and is revealed that he is the one behind the Squid Games and is actually his dead brother. The frontman then shoots him off a cliff. Now back into the game, Se-byuk is losing a lot of blood and looks like she may or may not make it, but Sang-woo is like, you can't be uncertain, and eliminates her. Now Ji-hun is absolutely flabbergasted at this point at what his friend is doing to win the money, and this provides him the bloodlust for the final game, Squid Game. There's a player who's attacking and there's one who's defending, and the offense starts at the head of the squid, point A, while the defense waits inside the body. Now the attacker must hop to point B on one foot before being able to use both feet. Now the attacker has to reach point C while the defender tries to push them out. Now obviously both of them snuck their dinner knives into the final game, and it begins to heavily rain. Now it's a fairly even match between them, but eventually Ji-hun gets the upper hand, but does not end Sang-woo. Instead, he wakes up and remembers clause 3, that if a majority of players agree, they may go home. So he tries to get Sang-woo to agree, but he's like, I'm a terrible person, and joins Liam Payne, as Ji-hun is the lone victor. Now it is revealed later that the old man was actually alive and actually the creator of the games, who dies of his brain tumor after disclosing to Ji-hun. So the moral of the story is, don't be homeless.